Inheritance is beyond physical possession. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cruise Vibe. I remain your host, Agbi Osaibovo. We'll be looking at an episode titled Inheritance. Inheritance, oftentimes, when it's mentioned, our mind is always channeled to physical possession. Maybe when someone dies, the children, they are expected to inherit a physical possession from their parents. Inheritance is beyond just physical possession. And oftentimes, as parents, we are majorly concerned physical possessions that we intend to leave behind for our children. Let's look at the life of Abraham. Abraham taught Isaac values. Abraham taught Isaac what he knew about God. We remember in Genesis, God called Abraham to leave his kindred and go to a place that he will show him. Abraham trusted God, left everything behind, and followed. Why will Abraham leave everything behind and follow? Because he knew the capacity to recreate wealth was already in him. Let's look at the story of the young man that came to meet Jesus. He said, "What must I do to inherit the kingdom?" Jesus Christ asked him various questions and he got them all. But he asked him a very difficult task. He said, "Go, sell off your possession and give to the poor." The Bible recorded the young man's countenance went sad because he had a great possession. He couldn't let it go because he felt all he has labored for. But let's not forget, the man upholded a lot of values that paved the way for those wealth. He said, "All these things have I upholded from my childhood." It means the man knew the value of wealth. He knew the nitty-gritty of making wealth. That was why he was wealthy in the first instance. Let's pick a very familiar family. The Dantata and the Alingos. History had it that his great-grandfather was one of the richest. Third generation after him, Mohammed Aliko Dangote, is the richest man in Africa at the moment. Are we going to call that a coincidence? No. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a coincidence. There were virtues that was transferred from their great-grandfather. And that virtue today is still applicable in their lives. And that virtue is an inheritance. Every virtue passed from generation to generation is able to recreate. The approach may change, but the principle of wealth remains the same. The father may have been a trader, but the virtue, if it is passed across, that same virtue can make wealth in other areas of businesses. If the principles of wealth and the virtues of wealth are not transferred from generation to generation, that wealth may not be sustained. But if the principle is transferred, the approach may be different, but that principle will create wealth again and again, generations after generations. As much as we want our children to be educated, as much as we want our children to be successful, we should also endeavor teach our children, imbibe in our children the basic principles of wealth creation. When the basic principle of wealth creation is imparted and well understood by that child can recreate that wealth at various sectors, across various businesses. Today, I want parents, guardians, mentors. The principle that makes you great should be passed across to your children. If that principle that makes you great is not passed across, the inheritance may not be able to be sustained. The principle that creates that wealth, civilization, innovation, invention may come, but that principle will be applied using different approaches. Let's endeavor to teach our children, to imbibe in our children the principle that made us who we are. Abraham imparted that principle into the life of Isaac. Situations will always repeat itself. And in the life of Abraham and Isaac, it happened. The Bible recorded during famine, Abraham contemplated going to Egypt. Isaac also experienced famine, contemplated going to Egypt. But the principle the father imbibed in him was to what? Seek. Should I go to Egypt or should I remain? It was a principle. He saw the father sought for answers. He also did the same. The same principle from Isaac was passed to Jacob. The approach may change, but the principle remains the same. We should endeavor to take our time to journey with our children, to let them know the wealth they are about to inherit is much more than a physical possession. The principles that created that wealth should be of more importance. Do not just train your child to inherit your physical possession. Also endeavor to train your child the principle that generated that wealth. Wealth creation is a principle. And that principle can recreate wealth over and over and over and over again. Inheritance is beyond physical possession. Inheritance are associated majorly with principles. As much as you want to inherit your father's wealth, as much as you want to be the MD after your father, as much as you want to be the CEO after your father, also endeavor to seek to know the principles that establish that investment that you are about to inherit. When you are able to get hold of that principle, the approach may change, but the principle remains the same. God bless you. I remain your host, Agbi Osaibovo. Please like our videos, share, follow, subscribe. Remember, we are family vibing together. Stay blessed.